What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on Tactical Pineapple, we have a small update for you in relation to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And we're also going to talk about how far is too far when it comes to requiring a COVID-19 vaccine. What is up, everybody? Yes, I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you who are here. This is going to be the last video I post on YouTube this week. That being said, one video each week will be posted on YouTube. If you want to watch the rest of it, head down to the description, and I'm still posting daily videos, but they're all going to be posted over at Odysee and Odysee only. I'm doing that for a couple reasons. Number one, YouTube hates me, not surprisingly. They are striking me. It's becoming harder for me to speak my mind, and I'm not going to tone it down for anybody. So that being said, that's why we're moving to Odysee. Our live streams are going to remain on YouTube currently. If those become problematic, which they already are, if they become worse, we'll move them over to Odysee as well. Luckily there we can have it all on a single channel and say fuck everything. So that being said, today's video is brought to you by store.tacticalpineapple.com. If you can see it here, the fresh new merch is in. It is ready to go out. It is all available Amazon Prime, even for sizes up to 3X. Anything bigger than 3X, and we can do pretty much, I mean, we can get up to 5X. No tent size, but we can get it pre-staked, okay? Like that pretty much, right? So 5X, that's where we draw the line. Anything bigger than 3X is subject to availability. It's all has to be made in America pretty much in order for you to get it right now. And there's not a lot of companies making bigger sizes here in this country. So without further ado, let's talk about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. As with every update so far, I would like to say that the prosecution is doing a great job in defending Kyle Rittenhouse. They continue to attempt to do whatever they're trying to do to no avail. The fact of the matter is when somebody is innocent of a crime or somebody has committed self-defense, it is going to be exorbitantly hard for you to prove that it was negligent homicide, whether it was homicide, hell, if it was premeditated. It's going to be almost impossible to prove that if the person is actually innocent of those things. Luckily, that's how the judicial system was originally intended. This is just blatantly obvious. It is a fucking clinic in why political charges will not stick. And I hope to God it stays that way. Today, interestingly, they did call Gage Grosskreutz to the stand. The prosecution went through, did everything that they could, allowed him to paint his picture. He acted really good too, due to the fact that he has a $10 million lawsuit that pretty much is riding on this case. He was painting a narrative like no other. It didn't last for too long, though, because as soon as the defense actually got up and started cross-examining, there were a lot of things that were kind of brought to light. So we've already covered the whole he was a felon in possession of a firearm thing. That's just not true. I think now knowing what I know, a lot of that stemmed from him being unlawfully concealed carrying a firearm. Now, big difference between unlawfully carrying and felon in possession of a firearm. What ended up being is that Mr. Grosskreutz learned after the fact, conveniently after the fact, that his concealed carry permit had actually lapsed. It was expired. So he was concealed carrying his Glock 27 handgun, which has a belt clip installed on it. Not even gonna fucking go there, to this event. So technically he was illegally possessing that firearm because he was going concealed, which is unlawfully concealing a firearm without a permit. Sorry, there should be an arrest made. The other thing that should lead to an arrest is the fact that on several occasions, even in the police report, it says that Mr. Grosskreutz says that he had the firearm and at some point throughout the night, it fell off of his belt loop and he was not in possession of it. Actually, in the police report, at no time did he make mention that he was pointing a firearm at Mr. Rittenhouse at any given time. As a matter of fact, basically his report is under the presumption that he didn't actually even have a firearm at that time. So, it didn't take long for the defense to go, so you were unlawfully possessing a firearm, you lied to the police on multiple occasions, you signed a police report stating all of these details, and yet we have video evidence of you holding a firearm. We have video evidence of you doing this, so would you say that was a lie? Well, I wouldn't say it was a lie. It was an omission. Well, an omission, knowingly, is a lie by omission, which also leads us to believe that, well, he knew that he didn't actually have a concealed carry permit, because why else would he lie about being in possession of a firearm? Because he would have been perfectly rightfully justified to be doing so. Now, take that for what it is. Nothing too spicy, because nothing will probably actually come from it. The defense attorney did point out the $10 million lawsuit that was filed against the county and the police. Actually pointed out how biased he probably is being for the stand because of how much money he has riding on the case, essentially, and why he has money riding on the case. Basically making him an invalid witness. Not that it really matters, he's quote-unquote victim, but they can't actually use victim, which is excellent for this case. It goes a step further. It got spicy right before they broke for lunch. Many of you are going to be familiar with this, but the defense attorney, Mr. Shirafisi, actually looked at Gage Grosskreutz and said, so, I heard you have some regrets about that night, to which Gage said, I don't have any regrets, and started sweating pretty profusely. It didn't take very long before the prosecution set up, Your Honor, I object to this, blah, blah, blah. And then they took a break, and it was kind of a moot point for a minute, but it did come back up after lunch. They did bring up the tweet, they did bring up the picture, admitted some stuff into evidence. There was some objection by the prosecuting attorney, but ultimately it lended itself toward the case, and there was that. Now, the other thing is the defense isn't doing a great job. The prosecution is just doing a horrible job. At one point throughout the day, there was some examination happening by the prosecution to one of the detectives, and the detective is answering questions about multiple things, and the prosecution is going on about, events of rock throwing and this and that, and I give the judge all the credit in the world to this. He kind of woke up to how fucking stupid this all is, I think, and basically laid into the prosecutor, without even objection from the defense, he kind of stopped everything. He said, where is this going? And the prosecutor said, well, it's about this, and it's about the group, and it's about... And the judge literally stopped him right there and said, listen, the group is not on trial here. Mr. Rittenhouse is. So if this isn't going anywhere pertaining to Rittenhouse, then I think we should move along. And the prosecution said, yes, Your Honor, no further questions. So whatever happens tomorrow is probably going to be the do-all, say-all. At this point, I don't believe there's any opportunity or chance that the jury actually goes with a murder conviction. The doubt always goes to the defense, the benefit of the doubt, as it's called. So we'll see where it goes from there. Like I said, I don't see anything happening to that unless the jurors are intimidated, which is potentially in the works. there are Black Lives Matter people who are present, and they are trying to make sure that the jurors know that they are being photographed. Whether it's actually happening or not, I consider that a threat, and maybe those individuals who are saying that should be arrested and probably talked to, to make sure everything is on the up and up. But like I said, we'll see where that goes. In other news, like I said, we wanted to talk about how far is too far with the COVID vaccine. I think we've reached the point. Like, this has to stop. We've talked about it several times. It's just over and above. People are losing their jobs over it. It is what it is, right? With everything that's happening right now today, we're talking about saving a couple hundred lives potentially by having everybody vaccinated. In all honesty, right? People are still going to get it. People are still going to transmit it. People are still going to do a bunch of things. And I'm probably going to get hit with medical misinformation because I'm not, towing the line. But I wanted to say all that to get into Vanderbilt University is one of the largest transplant facilities in the nation. And I just hope everybody understands when I say this. I'm not against what they do. I'm against how they're doing it now. They have said flat out that they are not going to allow anybody to get a transplant who is not vaccinated. They're saying it shows a propensity for irresponsibility. It's kind of like doing a liver transplant in an alcoholic is what they're saying. I completely disagree. I think Vanderbilt University is on the hook for potential deaths that are caused by this, specifically when it comes to individuals like the woman that they pulled off the list today, who has been waiting 3 years for a transplant that she was literally next in line for, when she got a call from Vanderbilt University and was bumped from that list because she's not vaccinated. Let's be completely honest. If you are going through some organ failure, you probably shouldn't get the COVID-19 vaccine as recommended by most physicians with a fucking brain. So for Vanderbilt University to come out and say you are not going to get a transplant that would potentially save your life because you're not vaccinated is not only irresponsible, but in my personal opinion, anybody who is pulled off that list and suffers pain, harm, or death should be able and open to the opportunity to sue Vanderbilt University for pain and suffering, as well as families for wrongful death. It's got to stop. The ultimate no is coming. Vaccine mandate has already been halted by the Fifth Circuit Court, at least temporarily. So that's good news for anybody who fell under the 100+ employee mark. OSHA has to basically cease and desist for right now. So we'll see where it goes. But like I said, I think we've gone too far. It's time for us as a society to step back and say maybe we're fucking this up a little bit too much. So that's all I got for you guys today. Until the next video, remember, carry your pistols. Brandon hates them. And also store.tacticalpineapple.com. Get your shit today.